Hello and welcome to episode 4 of the Minecraft Ultra Hardcore series. Today I want to do it a little bit differently and focus primarily on decoration. I don't want to do any more big builds. I'm not going to call that a big build. That was a kind of small build. That needs to be decorated. Those are their big builds and this was a big build. I'm starting to feel like I have dedicated far too much time to building in this world because I just strictly don't have the time. I'm recording these 2, maybe 3 weeks before they're coming out. I don't exactly know my timeline yet. Y'all will not be seeing these right after I record them. So today, I'm going to lay out where paths are going to go, where future builds are going to go. I'm going to put signs all over the place saying what I want to do, and really build a future for this world. So, in between episodes, I did a little bit of organizing. As y'all can see, there's no chests right there. They're all moved right over here. And this little visual bit is done through a combination of the click through mod, which allows me to click through item frames specifically, and then the invisible item frames resource pack. So there's essentially invisible item frames right here that I can just click right through and I don't need to worry about, which is very nice and helpful. But yeah, I've got everything nice and organized up. I didn't do any of this manually. I didn't really do any of the organizing manually. I have the very beautiful, I don't remember what it's called. Why is the obsidian there? Did I just put that in there? In Forge, I believe it was called like inventory add-ons or like better inventory or something like that. I don't exactly remember what it's called right here. I think it's inventory profiles. I think that's what it is. I'm not quite sure. I don't quite remember. But I can just click this button and then bada bing, bada boom. It's all pretty and organized and easy for me to find stuff. Easier than like, I mean, this is nice, but it's, I like this one easier. I like to put my obsidian in my valuables chest. I don't know why, but I always do it. So I need to get together some wood. I particularly like using oak wood the most because I am a very old Minecraft player. I played back whenever there was only oak logs in the game, and I have not like gotten through my oak log as the only log phase. I fully understand that there are other logs, but oak log is just always my go-to. It is the most basic, the most clean in my opinion, and it always lives in this slot up here. I try to keep myself a stack, but as you can see, I have no oak. It's just all spruce and dark oak. But in order to do that, I need more diamonds to build a diamond axe. I only have one. I used one right here. And if I'm going to do anything, it's going to make another diamond pickaxe. So in reality, I really need to go on a mining expedition. But I'm going to save that for in between episodes because I don't really feel like putting that back in the videos. I will maybe at some point, but I just kind of want to go mining on my own time and then just collect the stuff like that. So I'm probably going to end up making some iron axes for this stuff because I just do not feel like going to get more diamonds right now. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to get some oak logs, I'm going to craft up some signs, and I'm going to come right back so we can take a look at what we're going to do with the landscape around us. Alright everybody, welcome to the future. And by the future I mean the next day, real life next day. It took me a long freaking time to get these signs. I made way too many signs. And by way too many, I mean probably not enough because I plan on putting them freaking everywhere. So my first thought is I need to have a path going out this way. I don't know, maybe I should. I'm going to make an iron shovel, a little throwaway shovel so I can start making paths to just go all over the place. These aren't going to be any permanent or anything, they're just going to be for the sake of showing where I'm going. Okay, hopefully one shovel's enough. So not quite sure what I want this to be yet. I'm pretty sure it's going to end up just being a pond, but I'm going to do paths around it just to keep it as a viable option and not, oh, get rid of that shell. Just to keep it as a viable option and not plan on putting anything just straight through it. So of course one path is going to come over here to my village that I'm going to work on later once I get to the part where I want to develop villagers. I'm going to use this spot for their home. I don't seem to see anyone. Hello? Oh, thank God I found one. Where did you all go? You're the only one I know that exists. Do I need to hide you in a wall or something? You're gonna live in here for now, buddy. You go in there. Hopefully, do I have a torch on me? Yeah, you're gonna go in there, and you are going to stay there forever and not die. There's a villager right there. Let's not forget about that. Oh, here's another one. I honestly thought he was the last of them. All right, 2 is good enough for me. Let's save you back here. You are no longer allowed to leave, and I am not allowed to forget about you. I was honestly hoping that I was far enough away from these guys that they weren't going to get like absolutely zombied and just completely disappear on me, but I guess that's what happened. I don't know why those two survived. And seeing that those two survived really makes me think that the rest of everyone else should be here, but I just don't know where they went. They're just gone. It's just a ghost town. Well, I guess that gives us our first task to put down here, and that is revive the village. And that is what we're going to do whenever we are working with the villagers. We're going to revive this village. Also, one iron shovel was obviously not enough for this whole path idea that I'm going to have. I'm going to use a bunch of stone shovels because I am not flooded with iron right now. I need to be saving this stuff for hoppers. Alright, we've got a path to the village, which means we need to decorate the path to the village. That's going to be decorated going along that way. Another one, we need to flesh out the farm surroundings. What I mean by that is all these trees are on the outside. I don't plan on leaving them like this, but I'm too lazy to fix them right now. And right here is clearly a very good spot for a sugarcane farmer's house, so we're going to add a sugarcane farmer's house right there. And you're not going to ask me how to spell sugarcane, if there's a space in it or not, because I can't tell you. I'm also too lazy to check, because it just takes me 10 seconds of breaking one of those sugarcane over there and then reading the name. We need to build a bridge over to the enchanting area. We need to flesh out the enchanting path. We need to add some patio areas for the house. We need to build a dock right here, because I do a lot of loading onto boats and then swimming way over there on the boats and then swimming way over there on the boats sometimes. So we need something here to load and unload onto instead of just getting off on the sand. We need to flesh out the path over to where we're going to be building the dock. Oh, that's weird. The sign doesn't load in. I didn't know that happened. A goal for inside the house to decorate the interior, because that really freaking needs to get done. I'm tired of running around in the big open space. As cool as it is, and as nice it is to just run around and not have to deal with anything, why the heck do I have this space if not to put things in it? Other than chests, of course, because that's like the only thing you put in Minecraft houses, really. I mean, of course, like you also put the enchant table and like the smeltery and all that stuff, but I don't want that in here. This is just going to be chests. And deal with the front patio of the house. We need to fill in this big hole right here because I don't like it and it's dangerous, and we need to deal with this tree situation. I also want to know what's down in there. Maybe it's like a big pool underground water cave. Let's go take a look. It's nothing, it just ends right there. I was going to try and make something cool out of it if it went deeper, but it didn't, so it's going away. Okay, and I've gone ahead and built up this crude little bulletin board right here that I'm going to cover with things that I know I need but don't know where I want, which is kind of the rest of the things. I'm going to want a super smelter for smelting large quantities of ores, an iron farm to get lots of iron, probably going to have to make that before the super smelter, probably definitely, a villager farm to make the iron farm, but also just to get everything else that the villagers provide. An automatic tree farm, because I'm tired of chopping that stuff down. A farm for all the other farmables. I'm not going to write them all out here, but I'm probably going to make another board just for farms that we need to build eventually. Along the same lines as these two, just some auto villager farms, like the ones where they automatically like make wheat, or I believe you can do automatic bread and all that kind of stuff. Need those two, want those. A cobblestone farm, one of the ones that like dupes TNT and blows the cobblestone up, want that, don't want to have to get cobblestone. A gold farm, once we get into the nether, I would love to replace these 4 items in my inventory that I'm constantly carried around with just golden apples, which would be great. Because I can use the gold from the gold farm and the villagers from the villager, or from I need to put a villager setup on here. I can use the apples from the villager setup with I believe the farmer sells them, and the gold from the gold farm, and just have a constant stack of golden apples in my inventory. Much better than this and the bread. So with that, let's put the villager, I don't know, market. We're gonna call it a market. I want a flour farm. I want a bone meal farm. I want a moss farm. That'll probably be a byproduct of the bone meal farm though, depending on whatever design I use. I want a lava farm. I think that'll be a cool looking industrial building maybe. I want a raid farm. Get stacked up on the totem of undying. Where's my shield? Right there. Let's keep that on me until I get the totem. No better item to be in the offhand right now. I think let's also add the hero of the village onto that, because I'm pretty sure you combine the 2 farms whenever you're like doing the raid farms. The villagers also chuck their tons of items. I think that would also be cool. Speaking of chucking items at you, piglin farm. I think that'll go well with the gold farm. Put those together, get all the piglin items. Very nice. A sand and gravel farm would be nice. I have no problem when it comes to duping, specifically with like the sand and gravel and the TNT. I just, the way they're made, it feels a whole lot more intentional than, this is a pretty old one, but clicking an item in the item frame the second a piston pulls or pushes. I don't remember which one it was. That was the last dupe I remember. I don't look into them very much, and that one was from a long freaking time ago. This one, the sand and gravel farms just feel a whole lot more mechanical, and like you're actually doing something to do them, so I can let those pass in my mind. Same with the TNT duping. I'm gonna need a farm for all the animals, a mob farm, specifically the not witch farm that I Did I even put witch farm up here? I didn't put witch farm up here. I thought I put that up here already. Gonna want a slime farm that's not the mob farm and not the witch farm. Different type of mob, slime mob. Bee farm, honey farm. Let's put honey. Honey farm. An AFK fish farm. There's a lot of nice drops you can get from that. And then I think we'll end it off with an Enderman farm. I know that one's a bit off in the future. We're gonna have to go to the end and do all that. But I believe, I need to come up with something to put right here. I know what can go there. Mushroom farm. But by the time we get to this, we probably won't need to farm the mushrooms for health anymore. But I think it'd be nice just to have for like the 3 blocks that it gives you. Alright, I think that about sums up our goals for the near future. We have a lot to do. In fact, I think I'm going to put a couple more buildings around, just random buildings scattered about the place, and then we can build them and build around them. I mean, this is obviously where the fisherman lives. It's kind of close to home, but it's where he lives. This is where Michael lives. Don't ask me who Michael lives, just that he lives here. He's going to build his house soon, right next to mine, not nearly as big as mine, which brings me to another bit. I need to figure out how the heck I'm going to fit this gargantuan build into everything else. I am not going to be building anything near this size in the near future. And like Michael's house over there, it's gonna be tiny compared to mine, so I need to figure out some way to tie them together. This right here is gonna be the wheat farmer's house, and I'm thinking right here we can put up some kind of wheat stall for like grabbing wheat. I don't know, we could just store large quantities here. Maybe a silo, something, I'm not sure. And I think this is where Dwayne is gonna live, right next to the enchanting area and a little bit away from my house, probably the same distance as Michael. But yeah, this is where Dwayne's gonna live. I'm gonna build his house up later. Don't ask me who it is, don't know who he is, but he lives here. I'm gonna fix up the path over to his house as well. Alright, I think that's good enough for now. We got a good amount of things later on. I don't want to push myself too far into coming up with what I want to put in this world. But now I think is a good time to go through and just build a little footprint for these buildings. Throw out some blocks, get some designs flowing. I mean, not many designs. I'm gonna build random freaking footprints and go with the flow. So let's put a couple of these down. Alright, I think this is a good footprint for Michael's, Michael's house, for the fisherman's house. I'm gonna have to come up with a name for him. It's definitely not gonna be a hut. This thing's freaking big. And you know what? I think we're just gonna live with that. I think I'm just gonna resign myself to building a whole lot bigger than I originally wanted to. I also, over here in the water, I built this just kind of out into the water because I was thinking, oh, it's a fisherman. He'll like to have some area in the water. And then I thought it'd be a good idea, a cool, fun idea to build a little, like, I don't know, like an arch going over or a bridge or something. I don't know, he might also take control of this passage over here. He might be a whole lot more than a fisherman. Now, unfortunately, because of the size of this house, Michael is going to have a little bit of a problem because he is most certainly encroaching on his land. But I think that's fine. Michael can build over this way a bit. And let's knock that one out. Alright, so now not only does poor Michael probably have a less interesting house than what the fisherman's house is going to turn out being, Michael also, I built the house around here to also interact with the water, but then I realized it interacts with all the area that I ripped all the sand out of, so I'm going to need to fix this area up as well. In addition, I'm building these all with cobble deep slate. They will not represent the build palette of these buildings, though they probably should to match this, but they probably won't. This is just a placeholder block that I have a lot of on hand and do not mind spamming around the place. Okay, here's what the sugarcane farmer's house is going to look like, and this is just the part that's on the ground. I imagine the sugarcane farmer is going to be a little bit petty because he was assigned such a small bit of land, and probably build a house that stretches up a bit and then extends over this way, maybe like over this path in some interesting way, or even tears out these trees and hangs over the wheat field a bit. This one could get some neat views. I'm excited for this one. And here's where the wheat farmer's house is going to be. Probably also going to look over the wheat farm from a little lookout tower right here maybe, because it's high up on the hill. He can look over pretty well. All in all, it's going to be a pretty lavish house for a wheat farmer, but like, what can I say? Man's rolling in the dough, quite literally. Look at all that wheat. Speaking of dough, I did not intend on making that pun whatsoever. That was not intended. But now that I've said that, it'd be cool to have like a wheat processing plant or like a dough factory back here or something. Do I have signs on me? Let's put that on the project board too. Bada bing, bada boom, dough factory. Maybe it will be connected to the farmer in some way. Maybe I'll connect it to his house. I don't know, that sounds really fun though. Alright, and here's the little frame for what will hopefully be an interesting design from my boy Dwayne. Only the best for Dwayne, of course. Speaking of which, actually not speaking of which, I just lied. The sun is setting on day 99. I'm about to sleep it off and approach on day 100. And honestly, I have no freaking clue. I have occasionally, there it is, day 100. I have occasionally been watching videos of like 100 days in Minecraft or whatever. And I think I mentioned this. I either talked to y'all or someone else about this. I can't quite remember who I talked to. But I have no freaking clue how they are able to get so much done in so little time. I may be misconstruing what they're doing, or in my mind, I might even just be confused as to how much they're doing. To be honest, I don't quite remember that well because it's been a couple days. But it just feels like they do so much more than I've done in my 100 days. Like literally, maybe it's because they do villagers to get their diamond armor. That suck a lot of time. Maybe it's because they don't build a giant freaking house. But it is what it is. I'm at day 100 and I'm proud. This is a milestone, a very nice milestone. In fact, to celebrate the occasion, I think we should do a little bit of journaling. Let's write a little bit about day 100. Alright, I think that's a good enough recording of day 100. Don't need to put too much and don't need to put too little. Let's stick that in a lectern for the future. Actually, you know what? How about we leave that in a lectern for the future till we move it right here? Perfect spot to journal through my day. Amazing. Should have done that before I started. Actually, I just realized you can't type on a book in a lectern. I don't know if you realized, but this is my first time ever actually using one. I've never used this block. I never used books. Alright, so now I think it's about time for me to make a little bit of progress on things so we can actually see from a distance. And what I mean by that is I'm going to start working on gathering blocks to put together the fisherman's hut. And what that means is probably going to be a whole lot of wood. I really want to use oak wood. I really want to use oak wood, but I'm going to gather a couple things. Maybe I could do like oak wood and some clays and like get the barrel texture in there a couple places. I'm going to grab some blocks. I'm going to put some chests in here. I'm just going to throw a ton of stuff in here with like a set color range, and we'll see what works. Man, I am absolutely slaving my life away at this tree farm. Granted, I have gotten a ton of wood. Actually, I was gonna burn a bunch of this. So I need to stockpile on some glass, and I don't have any coal because I'm too lazy to go get some. In fact, I am in dire need of a mining trip soon. I have a lot of spruce for this build stockpile. I don't think I'm gonna use a lot of it, mainly just for like submerged logs underwater. I also I burn my tall trees because I could not be bothered to go up and actually mine this stuff down. I just light a single thing and then the rest of it falls down. But Jesus Christ, I've been mining for so freaking long. I was able to watch all of episode 8 of Chainsaw Man. Jesus Christ, I'm sorry for using that word a lot. I don't plan on. I don't think about it. But man, that episode 8, so good. I am so glad that they are doing the show the justice that they are. It deserves it. I love Chainsaw Man. I was a huge fan of the manga. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. We're here to talk about Minecraft. We can talk about anime another time if you want to. You're gonna have to tell me very soon though, because once again, I'm not gonna see this whenever the video comes out. Or at least I'm gonna, anytime you send me a comment, it's gonna come out a couple videos ahead. You know, like, time's funny. Alright, and I think we will call that gathered enough. I might need to grab more gravel and craft up some other bits while we're going. And I have some more glass smelting, but I couldn't be bothered to wait because I have to smelt for all that wood to finish harvesting. Anyways, I think we will call this a good enough spread of materials and a good enough point for me to log off. I'm pretty sure. Honestly, whenever I do these, I have no freaking clue what time I'm running on the video as a whole. I just throw a bunch of clips together, and then when I feel like ending, I end it, which is probably what I'm going to keep doing from now on. Anyways, we're going to start next time with getting some work done on the building, hopefully starting and finishing it in that time. I don't think I will. I don't know if I will, but that'd be really cool if I did, I think. Anyways, thanks all for watching, and I'll see you next time.